President Muhammadu Buhari returns to Abuja after United Nations General Assembly. Federal government reverses varsity reopening order. National body of the Nigerian Labour Congress to shut down Svtv government. On business, blackout in Abuja, Lagos and others as national grid collapses. And on the international scene, 5 killed in Nairobi as building collapse. And in sports, defender Araujo to undergo surgery, set to miss 2022 World Cup. Hello there, welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I'm Svtv. President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday morning returned to Abuja after a successful participation in the 77th season of the high-level meeting of the UN General Assembly in New York, United States. Newsmen reported that the presidential jet conveying the president and other members of the entourage landed at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. While in New York, President Buhari participated in no fewer than 12 high-level events, including bilateral meetings. President Buhari attended the opening of Transforming Education Summit on 19 September ahead of the general debate and attended Leaders Roundtable segment of the summit, where he delivered Nigeria's statement. The Nigerian leader was also the first speaker on Wednesday to deliver Nigeria's statement to the world leaders, assuring them of leaving lasting legacies and restated commitment to constitutional terms. The federal government, through the National University Commission, on Monday withdrew its circular, which ordered vice-chancellors, pro-chancellors and governing councils to reopen federal universities. Newsmen had earlier reported that a circular was addressed to all vice-chancellors, pro-chancellors and all chairmen of the governing council of federal universities, ordering them to reopen universities. However, in another circular, which was also signed by the NUC Director of Finance and Accounts, Sam Onazi, the Commission withdrew the order without giving reasons. Meanwhile, the Committee of Vice-Chancellors of Nigerian Universities said it did not receive any official information on the calls for resumption by the NUC or any government ministry. Similarly, the Academic Staff Union of Universities National President, Professor Emmanuel Osedeke, maintained that members had announced that they were on a strike, saying the government had yet to meet their demands. Justice Emeka Nweti of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday struck out the fresh charges against Olisa Mitu by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over alleged 400 million naira money laundering. Justice Nweti struck it out after considering the submission of counsel for the defendant in the suit that a matter pending before the Supreme Court cannot be decided by the trial courts. Our correspondent, Zainab Abdulwasi, reports.
At the dice proceeding, counsel for EFCC Olarewaju Adeola told the court that the trial court had reached a decision on the matter which the defendant appealed, and the Court of Appeal had set aside the judgment of the trial court, ordering a retrial by another trial judge. He avowed that the matter is a gross abuse of court process, as the EFCC cannot start the matter afresh while it is pending before the Apex Court. He then urged the court to either strike out the suit or stay proceeding, pending the outcome of the appeal at the Supreme Court. Justice Nwiti, after listening to the submission of all the lawyers in the suit, agreed with the fact that the EFCC cannot start a fresh suit while the appeal in the suit is pending before the Supreme Court. Zainab Abdulwasi, reporting for Standard Voice Television.
The Nigerian Labour Congress national leadership has threatened to shut down Zamfara state government for non-compliance in paying the constitutional national minimum wage of 30,000 naira. In a letter signed by the national president of NLC, Comrade Ayuba Waba, Zamfara state is the only state all over the federation that refused to implement the national minimum wage, which was duly signed into law since April 2019. Our correspondent, Sumaya Dosara, has more.
The national president, who went on to remind the state government on the consequences of the failure to implement the national minimum wage, said, Section 10 and 14 of the National Minimum Wage Act 2019 went to prescribe other penalties violations, including additional penalty not exceeding 10,000 naira for each day the violation persists. Mr. Ayuba Wabba, who addressed the letter to Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad Matawalle and copied to Inspector General of Police, Director General State Security Services, Commissioner of Police Zamfara State Command, Director SSS, Zamfara State President Trade Union Congress, State Chairman NLC, and the media lamented that, in few years back, Zamfara State Government was the first state all over the Federation to implement the 5,500 Naira national minimum wage. Then the government paid 6,800 Naira, which is above the national minimum wage. It could be recalled that the Zamfara State Council of the Nigerian Labour Congress had on 16 September 2022 issued a 21-day ultimatum to the state government to implement the national minimum wage, which will expire on the 6th October 2022. Sumaya Dosa reporting for Svtv News.
Suspected terrorists have killed 3 farmers across communities in Birnin-Gwari local government area of Kaduna State. Chairman Birnin-Gwari Emirate Progressive Union, Isaac Kasai, said the hoodlums abducted 22 people and snatched motorcycles during the attack. In a related development, a man, Mapag Linus, was killed on Sunday following a fresh attack by bandits in Janaret town in the Mungo local government area of Plateau State. Newsmen gathered that the victim was shot when the bandit opened fire on a resident of Janaret town. Charles Yusuf confirmed the attack to newsmen on Monday. Yusuf called on the government and security agencies to tighten security in the community and its neighborhood. And on business, Audio Jungle. Major cities in Nigeria, including the commercial north center Lagos and the nation's political capital Abuja, have been thrown into a blackout as the national grid collapsed for the umpteenth time in 2022. Various electricity distribution companies confirmed the development in a statement directed to their customers. Ikeja Electric said the national grid collapsed at 10:50 a.m. on Monday, noting that it has affected the transmission stations within their network and resulted in the loss of power supply to their customers. The Abuja Electricity Distribution equally released a similar statement but said the grid collapsed in the nation's political capital at 10:55 a.m. Kaduna Electric confirmed the collapse of the grid on Monday, saying it truncated power supply in their franchise states. The discos apologized to their customers over the development and assured that power will return once the grid is restored. And on the international scene, at least 5 people, including 2 children, were killed after a 6-story building collapsed in a town on the outskirts of Kenya's capital, Nairobi. The town's governor, Kimani Wamatangi, said the building, which was under construction in Kiambu, caved in on Monday morning. Emergency workers and volunteers attempted to help people trapped under the heavy concrete and brick debris, with a married couple as well as a mother with her 2 children among the 5 fatalities listed by the governor. In the past, shoddy construction and floated regulations have led to deadly accidents in Kenya. The East African nation is undergoing a construction boom, but corruption has allowed contractors to cut corners and bypass regulations. And on sports, over to Umukoso Mohammed.
Thank you, Fawzia Ibrahim, and now in sports. Barcelona have confirmed their Uruguayan defender Ronald Araujo will undergo surgery on a thigh injury picked up while playing for Uruguay over the international break. Araujo has opted to go under the knife and is now set for a lengthy spell on the sidelines. However, Barca have not said how long he will be out for, but reports suggest it will be around 2 to 3 months. Araujo will miss out on a place in the Uruguay squad at this year's World Cup in Qatar in November. The news is a massive blow as the defender is one of the first names on Xavi's team sheet. Yet Xavi does have other options he can use at centre-back and will now have to rethink his back line, particularly with Jules Koundé also sidelined at present. Still in sports, Super Eagles head coach Josep Pizarro insists his side have what it takes to beat a top-quality Algerian side. The Desert Foxes are unbeaten in their last 3 games against the Super Eagles. The North Africans will also enjoy massive support from their fans inside the Mouloud Haddafi Stadium, Oran. But Pizarro is undaunted with the task ahead and is confident his team can beat the Jamel Belmadi's side. He said they trained well and have been trying to introduce some new dynamics, some new methods that will be good for their players, saying the players have adapted well both on and off the pitch. Pizarro will miss the services of some of his key players in the game. Assistant captain William Troost-Ekong returned to England last Saturday after sustaining an injury in the test game against Algeria's home-based team. Midfielder Wilfred Ndidi spent only 2 days in camp before returning to his club over a hamstring issue. The likes of Captain Ahmed Musa, Leon Balogun, Samuel Chukwueze and Emmanuel Dennis all pulled out of the game as a result of injury. The former Venezuela and Saudi Arabian tactician, however, insisted his side can cope with their absence. Thanks for joining us for the sports updates. Umukusum Mohammed, have a nice day.
Thank you, Umukusum. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a recap of the major headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari returns to Abuja after United Nations General Assembly. Federal government reverses Varsity reopening order. National body of the Nigerian Labour Congress to shut down Zamfara state government. On business, blackout in Abuja, Lagos and others as national grid collapses. And on the international scene, 5 killed in Nairobi as building collapse. And in sports, defender Araujo to undergo surgery, set to miss 2022 World Cup. That's the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Fauzi Ibrahim. Do have a nice day.